Hi Chris here. Thought it was time to do another updates video because energies are shifting so fast at the moment. Every day there's something new, something being lifted off, veils are being released, which is allowing us to see more of what's causing your health problem through this ascension process. This ascension process is moving really quick and uh, been doing a lot of healing energies through the earth, through the solar system, clearing some really negative energies that are really slowing our ascension process down. And there's been certain entities, certain beings that are at play here, slowing this ascension process up. Now, one thing we've got to say is that ascension is going to happen no matter what. But these beings are trying to slow it down for as long as they can because, again, the reason why we're here is to be manipulated by these beings. Okay, and what I'm seeing with my dowsing, it's just manipulation after manipulation and manifestation of problems, okay, including infections. Majority of the times we're having infections because they're being manifested by these beings within the unknown, within the unseeable kind of dimensions or frequencies. This whole thing about an idea of catching a cold and catching infection is just dated. Um, and so I'm seeing manipulation all the time, and that's why we're here. Okay, and these beings want to slow this ascension process up so they can still be fed with loose energy, okay, and and play around with us and manipulate us. But they are essentially uh, they're on the end of a losing battle for them. But what we've been able to do is identify certain beings that are really slowing the ascension process. And the majority of the time, they're slowing the ascension process using certain ruptures. Okay. And this really distorts, it puts a distortion. So, we're not getting the activations that are required at the time to be calibrated and in line with what's happening in our solar system in regards to the ascension process. So we've been shifting out a lot of, I've been getting a lot of help in regards to clearing out negative energies that is slowing the ascension process so we can speed things up and get things really going really well. Now, the other day, on the 30th of May, there was a big energy shift. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have felt it. A lot of people that are very close to me in regards to intuition and energy healers all felt it very strongly. And this was allowing higher dimensions to be available and activated for humanity. Okay, no more talking about the fifth dimension, no more talking about the seventh dimension. We're going higher, we're going to the ninth, 13th dimension. Okay, these dimensions are becoming available to humanity now. Now, this latest shift has enabled all the veils to be dropped. Okay, and what this means is entities were using veils to hide behind. Okay, and this is essentially what we mean by going down the rabbit hole. Okay, uh, over the last kind of couple of weeks, clients of mine will know this. We've been doing clearings for people who are ready for this. We've been finding 9 particular veils within certain areas of the body, and where we find them a lot is the law of attraction. And why we find them a lot there, the law of attraction, is because these beings know the power of our manifestation qualities, okay, and that's our law of attraction, okay. So if they can really disturb and rupture the vibration of our law of attraction, then it removes a lot of our power and capabilities. And then in the end, we don't get the things we want, we get the things we don't want. And then that creates also suffering and creates this loose energy, which then they manipulate our own manifestation capabilities to feed them, and and us essentially get nothing out of it. So I guess that's that parasitic reality of this manipulation world that we currently live in, that these beings are using us for. So I was having to remove all these veils in certain areas, find them a lot within the law of attraction, within the consciousness, in the entire aura, certain parts of the aura, sometimes even our free will being manipulated by beings. Okay, this is and we had to go so many levels down to remove veil after veil, and behind every veil was an entity being, okay, or their witchcraft. And we had to go through that situation of clearing a lot of stuff out, essentially clearing up house, or cleaning up house, and then finally we can see what the problem is, okay. So now that at the 30th of May, we're being able to be active, at the 13th dimension has been activated, as well as the 9th dimension. And what that has enabled, all these veils to be dropped. So all of a sudden, for somebody like me or another energy healer, it's a lot clearer what we can see, and we can find out what's wrong and pull them out. Other things I've been noticing of late, of why I know the ascension process is going well, is we are getting some very powerful entities, okay. One in particular is a reptilian called Allah Main, and if we translate that, Allah means God, Main means important. This being thinks he's an important God. For anybody that is into our history, and we hear about the gods in ancient Egypt, and gods, Greek gods, and so on, like Zeus and so on. Now, God translates advanced life form, which is an extraterrestrial. Okay, so again, that's validation. Important God, Allah Main, a reptilian, we're looking for. And this guy is very strong. And it took a bit of information, a bit of digging to figure out why this reptilian was so powerful. Now, this reptilian was powerful because he was using an amplification tool. Okay, and my mentor Chris Kell is mentioning about removing the vortex of light from the reptilians that he's finding at the moment. And now that vortex of light is a crystal, okay? And what this particular reptilian is, and another archon being, which we'll get to in a minute, is they are using a crystal to amplify their energy, okay? And so we've had to rupture their crystal, disable their crystal, and just and their light, and then remove that entity. And I tell you, we're getting big energy shifts within people when we are clearing this particular being out. This whole thing about going through all these veils and clearing them up, Allah Main was a big contingent in regards to those veils. But as I say, now that we've had that big energy clearing a couple of days ago, we don't have to remove veils anymore. Veils have just automatically been dropped. So that was a really big energy shift for humanity, and the importance of our progression in this ascension process. Now, another thing is, for anybody that's been having healing sessions with me, is we disconnect people from the satanic continuum. So there'll be an area that you're having problem in, or be connected to a dark energy, and we call that satanic continuum. And what we do is we connect it to a pure source energy connection, which we call source continuum. Now, with the energy shifts that have occurred, and now this latest big energy shift that's happened, we are now calling a source ascension, not source continuum. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to connect everything to source ascension. Okay, so we've been starting to do that, and it's going to be very interesting to see what unfolds in regards to that. So all of a sudden we've been clearing another being, an archon called Tanor, okay, Tanor. He was also using a crystal. Okay, so these beings are very crafty. Now, all the technology that they use, we would deem as very simple but very powerful, because they're using geometry. Okay, and geometry is the language and the structure of the universe. Okay, and when you work alongside the universe, just like we should be with our energy sources on Earth, working with Mother Nature, then we can really create something very powerful. Here at Truly Holistic, we use geometry. Okay, now we use geometry and designs and sacred geometry, which has structure to it. Now you can do the same thing with crystals. Crystals have structure. Okay, you couple intent with structure, whether that's a geometry tool, whether that's crystals, whether that's a sound frequency, then you've got something. Okay, so these beings were using that form of technology. We are using that technology. They're using it, obviously, to cause a problem. We're using it to heal a problem. So very interesting. We had to rupture their crystals to disarm them essentially and make them weaker. Um, and as I say, ruptures are being used to slow this ascension process down. We find where they are. We just intend rupture false and remove them. And been also connecting or activating the portal to ascension within people, which is activating people's crystal bodies as well. Again, but it's just about getting every component ready for ascension, okay, and calibrated with the ascension process. Because if you can be calibrated with the ascension process, every new energy shift that's occurring on this planet, you'll be calibrated. So therefore, the ascension process is about wisdom and giving upgrades, and this is information, okay. And you need to be calibrated with that to download those upgrades, okay. So that's what we're doing at the moment with clients at the moment, is getting people calibrated to the ascension process, so therefore they can download all this new information, this new wisdom, that's going to increase your intuition capabilities and manifestation capabilities, more importantly. Now, other things I've been noticing a lot, I've been getting a lot of people coming to me in regards to relationships. And okay, this could be relationships with your partner, this could be with a family member that have really, there's been a lot of problems with it. And so what I've been working in is there's been a thing called such as a relationship source and a family source, okay? Now, when we work in the family source, we work on the family as one, okay? And what we find, again, is a lot of entity involvement, a lot of negative intent to cause problems. We clear all that out. All of a sudden, family members can get on well again. A particular family member that has not shown a lot of love towards you, all of a sudden is, and showing more support. I've had many testimonials from people saying that they're making huge breakthroughs and building relationships again with their father or another person within their family. So it really warms my heart that we are really helping people in regards to those sorts of things. Because one thing we've got to, in regards to this manipulation reality which we live in, is the fact that they'll manipulate you, and if they can't get to you, then they'll manipulate somebody in your close environment, a loved one, a family member, and to try and get that response out of you to create loosh, because that's what you're there for, okay. And if they don't want you being loving and showing laughter and being happy all the time, because that's the vibration that repels them. They want the opposite. That's what you're there for. That's the whole reason of humanity for them. So this whole ascension process is about breaking that chain. Okay, all of a sudden, getting us a little bit closer to our true self, our mortal self. Okay, our multi-dimensional self. So we have the capabilities to love more instead of be trapped within this matrix reality. So anyway, I thought I'd just give you a bit of an updates video. Clearings, there's new stuff coming to me every day, new downloads coming to me every day. And I know that's because the ascension process is moving very quickly. The energy shifts we're making through humanity, also the planet itself, the solar system, and really clearing out a lot of the stuff that's really slowing our ascension processes, making a huge difference. And just there's more stuff to come. I tell you, every day there's new stuff coming up every day, and new clearings, veils just falling down all the time to allow us discovery of new information that's going to push humanity forward. So keep your eyes and ears out for more updates. Cheers.